changing face of wealth. For those of you who don't know what a robo-advisor is, online wealth management service that provides automated algorithmic-based investment advice. So we'll just set that as a stage. We showed you this earlier. Still, again, the y-axis on a log scale, still relatively small amount of dollars in sort of automated investment services, aka robo-advisors. Big market potential that is expected. Lots of money kind of coming into the space, and we have John here from Betterment, but you kind of see all the different folks, and kind of $678 million in total funding. You see the kind of top 4 players in terms of total funding. So lots of capital has flown into this sort of robo-advisor world. It's off to a strong start in 2016, so that's just Q1. So pretty healthy deal activity. So it's been, kind of been pretty buoyant, this market, which has been good. Target demographic, at least today, and the way that's sort of presented is sort of wooing millennials, kind of tech-savvy younger clients with fewer investable assets, but that will grow with time. And so here we see kind of, comments about millennials and sort of their needs over time. High net worth investors have also begun looking at robo-advisors. So here what you see is Charles Schwab, which is one of the incumbent companies that's entered the space. And so we see, them with clients with $1 million plus under management, and then we see Betterment and Wealthfront with 100K plus. Obviously, there might be some of that 100K plus that has $1 million, so we don't know that portion. But you can see that sort of the high net worth folks are now starting to gravitate towards robo-advisory as well. So it's a good sign. Incumbents are responding with acquisitions. Again, mentioned it earlier, if it doesn't look like you're approaching scale in this business, then exit to one of the incumbents might make sense. And so we've seen some exits there. Partnerships, obviously, have happened. And then, there is some cases where partnerships change, they evolve and maybe are no longer partners. So that's one case is Fidelity and Betterment. And then obviously organic development. So this is an area that we actually see incumbents reacting and taking some action and doing pretty well. So, kind of having pretty significant assets in their version of a robo-advisor business. And then, we see some other folks who've expressed intentions to develop robo-advisor products. This is kind of the assets that each of them have raised, and you see the incumbents again have done well in terms of putting some assets underneath this. This is, earlier kind of talked about the scale required to be successful in this business. So when we think about why companies are exiting early, it's if there doesn't look like there's a path to scale. That is one of the reasons that companies are getting out. Kind of open questions. Challenging incumbents. So how do you, for those of you who remember Joe Lonsdale's comment earlier, he didn't view this as I think the phrase was a technologically interesting problem, right? And so how do robo-advisors kind of differentiate their offerings and not become sort of all the same? So how do they do that? How do they challenge incumbents? Differentiation, just talked about. And then ultimately, how do they sort of go after the super wealthy if that, is an aspiration to go up the sort of the food chain?